Yeah.
Welcome, grade 11s and grade 12s. We are going to be diving into a business report, better known as the Section C. And once you know how the teachers market, once you know what we're looking for, it's going to make your life so much easier when you write this business report. Okay, so we are looking at two separate types of thinking. The first bit of thinking that we're looking for is LOT, which is called lower order thinking. And that is where you are just telling us the facts. This is what I've learned. This is what it is. It's literally regurgitating the textbook. Okay, so that if you know your theory very well, you're probably going to get 30 out of 30 for lower order thinking, which is great, wonderful. You've passed the business report. But if you're looking for those distinctions and the higher marks, you really need to get on board with higher order thinking, which involves 20 marks. And that is all about bringing in your application skills to what you are writing. So we're looking at lower order thinking and higher order thinking. Okay, so your format is as such. You are always going to write to date from reference. Learn that. You need to be able to get 2 out of 2 for format. Please do not lose 2 marks. I've seen time and time again where people do not put this format in. It's marks, money for jam. One thing you must always remember as well is you've got to sign at the end of your report. So you're going to say to date from reference, and please reference your topic, what you're going to be talking about. And then right at the end, you're going to be signing. When we look at business terminology, now this is still in your LOT, in your lower order thinking. This is to get those extra marks. Business terminology, you need to be able to use words that are current affairs, cross-functional team meetings, key performance index, brand positioning, brand awareness, brand ambassador, inbound marketing, word of mouth, CRM, which is customer relationship marketing, any kind of business words. If you are writing a report and you are writing stuff, like, when you want to sell stuff, you are not going to get your business terminology. You need to be able to talk in business terms. It's a little bit more formal. You are not writing a report to your friend. You are not writing a report to someone you know. You are writing a report to the board of directors or management. Your language has to be business language. Okay, you're not going to say stuff and put in put in kind of little LOL and I don't know, little funny little, acronyms that you guys are using on Snapchat and Instagram, and that you do not do that. Avoid at all costs, please. You don't want to annoy the marker. Make sure that it is business terminology. And then you're going to look at content, and we are looking at 50 facts. 50 things that are coming from the textbook, okay? We then divide that by 2 in order to get your mark out of 25. So this is then going to give you a total mark of 30 marks. Please, if you're going to list facts that are not explained, you can get a maximum of 4 marks. I have marked some papers where it was just bullet, 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 and I can give you, and you've given me 16 bullets, and I've been able to give you 4 marks for 8 facts. We cannot mark bullets. It must be explained. Right, now we go into our hot. This is where you're going to get your distinctions. So the first one is substantiation. Now, all that substantiation means is to explain what you are saying, to give substance or form to what you are saying. Now, I tell my students to always use the word because or as to prompt them into going into more information. Mr. Pricing strategy is a low-cost strategy because in our South African market, with our unemployment rate being at 50%, we are needing to ensure that our clothing is sold at a cost-effective price. Do you see? I've given you what Mr. Price's strategy is, and then I said because, and I've given you a current affair, which I'm coming to now, but this is all higher order thinking. You're including everything into that answer. So, substantiation is because. The next is your application to context, current affairs. Grade 11s, grade 12s, in all my videos, I add in a slide of current affair where I can. You need to know what's going on in the fashion retail industry. Go into a store, go see what Mr. Price is about, go have a look at what Cotton On is. And I'm sure you guys know because that's where you shop. Go and have a look at where do they accessorize, what is their strategy. You can, as you walk in, understand the industry. So your application, your examples must be relevant to the case study. You can't just give a random current affair. Oh, by the way, unemployment rate is 40%. You can't just say that randomly. Interest rates are blah, blah, blah. You can't just say randomly. It's got to be incorporated into your answer. Okay. Then we go into creative problem solving. So let's go back to substantiation where I said, and the low cost strategy. You would then say a good strategy that Mr. Price could possibly look at is differentiation. For example, they could have a pop-up store in schools selling school uniform at a low cost price. However, they would need to ensure that they have economies of scale, that they can order high volumes in order to maintain that low pricing strategy. So I have now given you what they're doing, and I've actually given you a problem. I'm solving a problem because school uniform is very expensive. Mr. Price could see this as a gap in the market to say, you know what, we're going to start targeting schools and start selling school uniform. Creative problem solving is giving a strategy. Then you give an example. For example, always only give up to 2 examples. We cannot mark more than 2 examples. I've had where some people, they're giving me example after example. I can give you a maximum of 2 marks for an example. Remember to always include your however. However is where you are creating an argument. And if you look at your rubric right at the bottom, it says there, arguments are developed. However is ensuring that you are looking at both sides of your strategy. There's always positives and negatives to an idea. Please include that at all times. So that's where I've said to you, that synthesis. Did you give a good introduction? You will get a mark for your introduction. Did you give a good conclusion? You will get a mark. Please, grade 11s and grade 12s, you must have paragraphs. Do not just bleh on a page and there's not a line in between. Too many of you do that. Even if your handwriting is huge, skip a line. Please, 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 you are not going to get your paragraph mark. And again, it's money for jam. You don't have to do anything. Just give us paragraphs. The 4th mark, where you get an overall mark, is did you incorporate the topic in the question? Are you answering what we need from you? Okay, now remember, sometimes, generally, we're giving you 2 to 3 things that you have to answer. So make sure that you are covering all those topics in the question. Then you get another mark for an integration of topic with business-related topics. That is where you bring something else from a different chapter into your talk, into your report. For example, if you said, Mr. Price should really focus on training of their staff. Customer service is of utmost importance in the fashion retail. They also need to know FIFO and LIFO, which is first in, first out, last in, first out strategies in order to have stock rotation. First of all, you are solving problems. So I'm going to give you more marks for that, but you've integrated a topic from somewhere else. Well done. You've brought in HR with training. And then arguments are developed. And remember what I said. You're going to always, once you've given a strategy, you're going to say, comma, however. I just want to go over that. So, because. So you're going to say something and then you're going to say because. Once you've said because, you're going to then say, this is the strategy. Here are examples, comma, however. This is how you do a business report so that you are analyzing. You might just have one big idea that you're kind of ensuring all your topics are covering. You don't have to write pages and pages and pages. You've just got to be very clear with what you're saying. So let's go through a question. Mr. Price has recently come under threat due to the success of other competitors in the fashion retail market. The marketing team of Mr. Price needs to make a concerted effort to enhance their exposure to the South African market as well as gain a competitive market. What are you required? Compile a business report where you discuss how Mr. Price can maintain their place in the South African market through the effective use of the marketing mix, the 7 Ps. Discuss possible problems of the marketing mix as well as strategies and solutions to them. Include in your report an analysis of the macro environment of Mr. Price. Grade 12s, there is so much to write about these 3 topics. You really have to be selective in what you're going to expand on. The marketing mix, the 7 Ps, is already in itself. 1 P is already a 50-mark question. So make sure that you are mentioning each of those and then you hone in on one marketing mix. And then you're going to discuss the problems of that particular marketing mix. And you're then going to come up with strategies for that one marketing mix. Then you go into your macro environment of Mr. Price, which is what? Macro is pestle. Again, make sure that you've got the acronym out, that you've got all the words that you are explaining very quickly what they're about and hone in on one. Understand what the challenge is of the one and then come up with solutions of the one. You really have to think carefully about how am I going to write so much into a 50-mark essay and covering all those topics. That's the trick. So the first thing you need to do is you need to assess what are some of the words that I cannot reuse in my paper. Please, grade 11s, grade 12s, do not repeat the question. You're not going to get a mark for fashion retail market because they've mentioned it. You're not going to get a mark for competitive market. You're not going to get a mark for marketing mix. You're not going to get a mark for the word strategies, solutions, and you're not going to get a mark for macro environment. So I just say to my students, highlight in the question words that you're not going to keep repeating because you're not going to get a mark for it. Don't repeat them. So, what do we need to talk about? Marketing mix, product, place, price, promotion, people, process, physical. Problem strategies, macro environment, pestle, problem strategies. This is what I would suggest is your mind map before you even start, so that you can say to yourself, have I covered everything? Now, you are going to get a mark for product, place, price, promotion, people, process, physical, because that hasn't been mentioned in the question. You are going to get a mark for pestle and explaining pestle. Okay. So the biggest thing that you need to know is an introduction and a conclusion. And these things you can learn, grade 12. You could actually learn an introduction. Make sure that it's going to fit into your question because this introduction would never fit into possibly a HR question or a labor question. But there's certain things that you can learn to have in an introduction and you get marks in your introduction. So, from, please write, don't ever write your own name, just write some random name, date, the day you complete the report, and reference is your topic. Remember, you have to get your format right to get 2 out of 2. Introduction. Mr. Price needs to maintain a competitive edge in the retail market. You're not going to get a mark for that statement because you're repeating exactly what was in the question. That is dominated by key players like the Foschini Group, TFG. You can give an acronym and you can then explain the Foschini Group and you get 2 marks. And Woolworths. Remember what I said, maximum of 2 examples. These are your examples. The marketing mix, which is from your topic, will be key in developing strategies, topic, to ensure the company has market growth. Yes, I'll give you a mark. And can provide profits. Yes, to their shareholders. Oh, I'll even give you a mark for shareholders. And that is business terminology. Conducting a macro analysis from the topic will be another strategy to ensure we have sound marketing strategies going forward. Grade 11s, grade 12s, if I read your introduction, I need to know what you're going to be talking about in the report. If I read your conclusion, you need to have pulled out one key idea that you have come up with in that conclusion. So when I get a business report, if I read the introduction and I read the conclusion, I should know what your report's about without having to read all the nitty-gritty. Capiche? Capiche. Okay. So this is a lot of words, but I just wanted to go through how we mark this. Here is an answer that you could possibly have come up with. Mr. Price would need to ensure they have a comprehensive marketing mix, T stands for topic, strategy in order to gain market share in an already saturated current affair, and I'm going to give you a mark, fashion retail market. Notwithstanding the ongoing increase of the online shopping market, current affair, giving you a mark. The total growth for online retail in South Africa in 2022 came to 35%. Current affair, mark. Including the introduction of Amazon coming into our market. Current affair, mark. Mr. Price would need to ensure their product offering is able to compete with the international giants. However, do you see, as a teacher, when I see the word however, I put a little A and a circle to say, oh, someone's coming up with an argument. Yes, this is higher order thinking. However, would need to compete on price without sacrificing on the quality they offer. Now, I've given you a mark for price there, which is part of the marketing mix. When you mention it in your marketing mix later, I will not give you a mark for that word price. Okay. A strategy that could be adopted is to ensure their stores are fully stocked with trendy and fashionable clothing and accessories like jewelry, makeup. Because, substantiation, consumers like to buy extra needed fashion items to complement the outfit they are buying. However, argument would need a reliable supply and ensure that they have good merchandising strategies, or your problem solving here, to ensure stock is seen and bought. Mr. Price could ensure all staff are regularly trained, problem solving, on customer service, business terminology. I'd actually give you a mark on customer service because that's your strategy. Or they could have a market penetration strategy where they offer a 10% less price promotion on buying an outfit with all the recommended accessories. This will ensure turnover of stock. Suppliers could offer the discounts, as Mr. Price would guarantee bulk orders, economies of scale. Mr. Price should continue with a low-cost strategy and not offering credit to customers, as this eventually impacts on pricing and the recovery of bad debt, ensuring their business is compliant with the liquidity ratio. Industry norm is 2:1 for current capital ratio. By bringing in that liquidity ratio, by bringing in that solvency, you have brought in another topic. Do you see that? Now, you're then going to say, the marketing mix comprises of product, price, place. You would then go into and explain each. How do you do it? You're going to say product. Okay, you've already explained some of the product already in this paragraph, but possibly you're doing physical. Physical, substantiate. What is physical in marketing mix? Then you're going to say because, example, here is a strategy, however. Do you see? You've got to always explain what you say, provide an example, put in a current affair if you can, and then give me an however with the strategy. You would then go into a pestle analysis for macro, and you would say this is an uncontrollable. Remembering you don't have to write too much because you've already got 25 marks just for those 2 paragraphs. And your introduction, how many marks did we get? 25 to 6, 7, 8, 9, 30. We've already got 30 marks. I need 20 more marks. So I would then go into a marketing mix, nicely explaining what those elements are. Or you could even start with, before you even go into strategies, you could say, this is what marketing mix is about. This is a pestle. Here are some strategies. You don't have to write pages and pages and pages. Do you see that? If you use my formula, because, example, however, and include in a current affair, you are going to get this right. Grade 11s, grade 12s. Okay. So, a strategy we recommend because an example, current event, relevant past event, provide an argument, use the word however. On the other hand, also to keep in mind, Papa, you're looking at the other side, play devil's advocate. Not everything can be perfect and hunky-dory. Your strategy is not foolproof. When you put in however, it shows the marker that you are thinking, creatively thinking, that you are looking at from both sides. Single marking, 1 mark per fact in body. A fact requires a full sentence. Total of 50 facts divided by 2 gives you 25 marks. And I've now shown you how we do the HOT. When you are using current affairs, when you are substantiating, explaining, becausing, howevering, bringing in other topics, man, oh man, oh man, your report is becoming amazing and you are going to get your distinction. Conclusion. Remember what I said. If I read the introduction and I need to know what you're going to be writing about. If I read the conclusion, take out 1 key idea, 1 key strategy that you have honed in on. Okay, so you could learn a conclusion. Some schools do this, where you can learn a conclusion off by heart, and this is a conclusion you write for everything, and you just adapt it. No heading, only worth 1 mark. Please don't sweat the small stuff. It's worth 1 mark, okay? Create a generic introduction that you can use for any report. Have keywords to guide any conclusion. Start with words such as in conclusion, to sum up, to summarize. Restate keywords of the topic given. Create a generic finisher. This is some of the suggestions that you could do. In conclusion, the macro environment and bring in your topic of what you're talking about is an important consideration for retailers to analyze to ensure Mr. Price's marketing strategies are competitive. The discussion above highlights how factors can impact consumer behavior and ultimately affect fashion retail sales within. Successful fashion retailers are those that can adapt and respond to changes in the market by focusing on their core competencies. And the strategy we have brought to light is to continue with a low-cost strategy, ensuring that we are buying bulk from our suppliers in order to maintain economies of scale. See, I would bring in my big key idea for a conclusion. Okay, grade 11s, grade 12s, you've got this. You're going to maybe have to go back and actually make notes and practice. Do a business report. Take it to your teacher. Ask them to mark it. You mark it. I actually have told my students on numerous occasions, you mark it. You be the teacher. Here are the keys. Topic and substantiation, argument, you mark it. Or ask one of your friends. Say to them, you write a report, I'll write a report. Let's swap it and I'm gonna get a red pen and mark. That is how you're going to win with this business report. All the best, grade 11s, grade 12s. Have a fantastic day.